Hey guys, welcome back to my watercolor channel. Today I paint a small landscape with different green shades. The first thing that I do, I divide the paper in 3 sections so I know about where the third of the paper is and I can add my focal point there. I add a small house. Sorry for the light pencil, but I changed to a stronger one. And you don't really need really great drawing skills for that. It's just a very simple house. At the back of the house there's a forest, and then further away there's another forest as well. So I play around a little bit with the different distances. At the front of the picture in the foreground I will add some flowers which are yellow in color, and then I continue. Unfortunately the camera has not caught up and I added some ultramarine blue and some orange onto the sky. Then I waited till everything has dried. I wet a little bit the paper at the back where the further away trees are standing, and I add some nice purple there. Basically I use some ultramarine blue and some crimson red. It's very light in color, and then I add some more of the crimson red to the ultramarine blue so it has more of a reddish tint. I press the brush firmly, and so the colors are spreading nicely downwards, and use a little bit of water as well so it's very light in color. Then I add some green. It's basically some ultramarine blue and a little bit of a hooker's green, and everything is mixing nicely together. And then I continue with the trees behind the house, so just adding a very strong ultramarine blue, and then I vary a little bit with the green shades. I added more of the lemon yellow to the ultramarine so you see this really nice green, and then having a very bright green, so loads of ultramarine blue. And then again varying between those green shades. I make it a little bit darker behind the house because the house is supposed to pop out later onto the painting as it's the main focus. And then adding here also some of the stronger blue shades and then green shades again. A little bit more to the distance. Then I use a bigger brush because I want to paint the foreground, and my brush contains lots of water and a lot of paint of the green shades I have used before. So press the brush firmly onto the paper. Then I add some phthalo blue, so it's a little bit of a coldish tint, and as well a little bit more to the foreground, so where the blue is there gonna be some yellow flowers and it's gonna look quite nice. Here I added more of the lemon yellow and the greenish colors. So it really makes a nice difference to the background. It's much stronger in the color. And then I add some of the deep yellow because that's the color my flowers are supposed to have, and it's a bit more of a warmish shade as well. But again I play around with different greens and different strengths. So I dropped the brush before. I have some more bluish color, so I add more phthalo blue there to hide a little bit my mistake. Remember to use a lot of paint where it contains lots of water, so everything mixing nicely together. I waited till everything has dried, then I continue with the sky, and I mixed a more purplish color, so it has really ultramarine blue and crimson red as before. However, in this case I have more of the blue color, and then I also add more of the stronger pigments towards the sky, towards the clouds, so there are a little bit of different strings there. Looks much nicer. I continue with the background further away, standing trees, but I remember to take off some of the blue color so it's not having hard edges. I was not happy that it was just the purple shades. I added more of a green shades to the back, and here spreading as well, so it's not looking everything so orange and having a stronger green. Basically it's ultramarine blue and then some of the lemon yellow, so it makes a nice green. Yes, we're adding more stronger colors as well as using water to water it down a little bit. And then I continue with the house while everything is drying. So I use some raw sienna and I add some cadmium red. It's always good to add some of the reddish colors when you have an overall green painting, so they complement each other. At the back I add more, behind the house I add more of the darker green, so everything has dried. And also here I leave a little bit of space in between and the trees, so it's not so overcrowded. But really here there's the point of emphasizing the house or the barn at the back. I split my brush and I add some grass a bit further away here, small ones and some light brush strokes. As you can see the flowers here more, I also want to emphasize them more and add more of the stronger green. And around them so that the flowers have more of a hard edges. Also using more of the green, stronger blue. And adding some leaf with light brush strokes and a split brush, so kind of like a grass harms. Also some lighter green yellow, spreading it, and then continue the same way. So basically adding stronger pigments now at the brush in front of the house on the right side. It's very important to add dark colors so that some different focal points are created. But here as well I play a little bit with the different green shades. spreading the brush element using the dry brush technique, and then more of the grass to the ground. Also the brush is a little bit split. And then where the horizon line was for where the house is, then more of very tiny grass strokes. So now it's just really adding darker colors, and then at the front also adding like a bush and some flowers, because I thought it looks a little bit too empty, so I vary a little bit with the green made of ultramarine blue, and then adding more of the light Hooker's green, but as well as adding some of the deep yellow flowers to the mix, and mixing it a little bit with the greenish colors. Here I use some phthalo blue, and then adding really at the back, so I wanted to emphasize it just slightly that there is something. Taking off some of the paint, and then continue with the house. It looks quite pale, so using some of the burnt umber and some ultramarine blue mixed together to have a darker brown, adding it to the window and door, but then use a lighter layer onto the rest of the house, as adding more of the cadmium red, so it really kind of pops out. It will dry out, so the colors are not as strong, but in between add more of the green and more of a grass around the house to emphasize the shape of the house, and maybe some birds onto the sky, and more darker colors. So I thought a little bit of a small fence. So basically just to emphasize the different shapes on the house, and as well as adding more of a grass humps to the flower branch at the front. So it's kind of a bit different values, and it looks much nicer in this case. I don't really have a reference picture for that, so it's really what's in my head. And then adding more of deep yellow to the flowers. That was it. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe. Bye!